Hello, everybody. Uh, Welcome back once again to the second part of our need, basics, and scope of supply under GST. In the previous session, we had understood why GST came into place, what was the drawbacks or the fault in the earlier system, and how was GST supposed to rectify them. As well as we had understood what is the scope of supply, plus we have understood the meaning of goods, we had understood the meaning of services, and we had also understood what is not goods, what is not services. To give you a brief or to conceptually crystallize for the meanings, goods came from a section that is 252, services came from a section that is 210, and the elements which are not goods, not services, came from two places. One, sections 252 and 272, as well as your schedule 3. Starting off our today's session, we would be understanding two schedules majorly. One is your schedule 1. So one is typically your schedule 1. This will talk about our statement wherein there is no consideration but yes GST. And the second part would be our schedule 2, wherein we would understand list of items which are classified either as goods or as services. Now, if you recall our previous discussions, you would have understood that मैंने आपको एक रेस्टोरेंट का एग्जांपल दिया था और उसमें आपको ये भी बताया था कि वो पर्टिकुलर आइटम को कैसे गुड्स भी माना जाता था और कैसे सर्विसेज भी माना जाता था. सो अब वो जो मिसमैच थे वो सब क्लेरिफाई होंगे जब हम शेड्यूल 2 करें. लेकिन शेड्यूल 2 पे जाने से पहले, शेड्यूल 1 स्टार्ट करने से पहले, you will have to understand our basic statement. Now, what was our basic statement? GST is a tax levied on supply of what? Of goods, services, or both. In the for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. We had understood consideration, course or furtherance, as well as business, but we would be again running through its definitions either today or in the coming sessions. But the major focus is in for a consideration to start off. Here we are starting off with no consideration, but yes GST. And where does that come from? It comes from schedule 1. I hope I am clear till now. To start off, schedule 1, the first item, it says me, or rather it indicates to me that there has to be 3 parameters wherein I'll have to sit and evaluate. Now, what are those 3 parameters? That there has to be a permanent transfer of business assets on which ITC has been claimed. So what am I trying to tell you? Now we had understood that the term transfer, was it covered in my scope of supply? I believe yes. Now transfer can be of two types. One is your temporary transfer and second is your permanent transfer. Now schedule 1 tells me to evaluate the situations जहां पर permanent transfer हुआ है. अब permanent transfer का meaning क्या होता है? That I have passed on the possession plus I have passed on the ownership both of what? Of a business asset. Now understand one thing. Assets can also be classified into two parts. One is assets that you use for your business and another are assets that you use for your personal use or for your personal purposes. To give you a very simple example, you have an office, you have installed air conditioner. Is that your business asset? Yes. You have your home and you have installed an air conditioner. So is that your business asset? No, it is an asset for your personal use. So AC at office is business asset. AC at home is personal asset. Now this is fine. The third condition is on which ITC has been claimed. Now the term ITC means, I'm sure you all would be knowing, but I'm still writing it off. Input tax. Now tell me one thing from a very, say, common sense perspective. ITC is a sort of benefit that you people receive. As we had understood the seamless flow of credit, you were allowed to subtract the amount of ITC which you had paid on purchases of your goods or services. So now, when ITC is a benefit that is given to you, what is expected out of you? That the particular asset would be used for your business purpose. When you are now transferring that asset or selling off that asset permanently, would you be using the same for business? The answer to that is no. Because once you have transferred the possession, once you have transferred the ownership, the asset no longer belongs to you. So now the government comes up with a revenue leakage over here. It tells me that Nihal, I had given that asset to you so that you use it in your business, and now you are not using it in your business. So do one thing, you need to pay tax. Now Nihal answers, government, that is fine. The value received for it is 0. So when I have not received a consideration, I cannot charge tax on it, and therefore my liability remains at 0. Then the government says, no, you are covered under Schedule 1, which tells that even if there is no consideration, tax is payable. If I have to give you a different point of view to think on this, by asking you to pay tax, the government is only asking you to reverse the ITC's benefit that you had. I hope I am clear, but I will still go ahead and give you an example so that it is crystal clear in your heads. Supposedly, you have a laptop which you are using in your office. You have used that office for say a couple of years or for 1 year or for 1 month for that matter. And then you decided that चलो यार अब लैपटॉप खराब हो चुका है, but मुझे लैपटॉप बेचना नहीं है. I don't want to sell and earn money out of it. So what I will do, I will donate it. मैं गया किसी से गरीब इंसान के पास में, गरीब बच्चे के पास में गया और मैंने उसे लैपटॉप डोनेट कर दिया. द गवर्नमेंट टेल्स मी, निहाल जब लैपटॉप खरीदा था आईटीसी क्लेम्ड, I say yes. So the government says refer schedule 1. I say no. So the government is like, okay, fine, we don't have any issue with it. So I hope the 3 conditions are very clear to you.
So if you take tax credit, then we have to refer schedule 1 and we have to pay tax. And if we are saying we are we have not claimed the ITC credit, then we have to then there is no tax.
Then there is no tax, absolutely. Point number 2. Supply between related parties or distinct persons. Now we all know what is the meaning of the term supply, but here we need to understand what is the meaning of the term related party and what is the meaning of the term distinct persons. Now, even if I don't refer to the actual meanings as defined in the, whatever the section it is, I can still come to a conclusion that the term related persons means somebody who is related to me as an individual. Who would be the persons who are related to me? My parents, my business partner, and my say joint entity. Joint entity can be 2 or more person control me, or I control 2 or more person. It is like either I get controlled or I control. This, the list of related parties is in your section 15 explanation. Section 15, I'll just give you a hint about it. It talks about valuations. As and whenever we see section 15, we would again be discussing what are related parties. But here, we are not supposed to discuss or understand or say give an extra emphasis on related parties, is because we are trying to understand situations where is no consideration, but yes, GST is payable. So the aim over here is to understand whether GST is payable or it is not payable. Second term used is distinct person. I'll give you a very simple meaning to it. Say, who was our supplier? Shivi. So, Shivi has a private limited company. Say, Shivi Private Limited. It has 2 branches. Okay, one is in Karnataka and the another is in. Now apply your common sense and tell me how many permanent account number, that is PAN, would she have? She would have one PAN or multiple PANs?
One PAN.
Sir,
For one.
as per इनकम टैक्स परमानेंट अकाउंट नंबर तो एक ही होता है, भले मेरे 2 स्टेट में क्या 26 स्टेट में होने दो, 36 स्टेट्स या प्लस यूनियन टेरिटरीज में होने दो, पैन तो एक ही रहेगा मेरे पास. Now apply again your common sense and tell me how many GST numbers will she? One or multiple? Now the answer to this is
One.
multiple. Now why multiple? It is because GST is a destination based consumption tax. So if a particular supply is in happening from Karnataka, then she will have to issue invoices from Karnataka. Karnataka will have a state code. Maharashtra will have a state code. Now for sure that state code would be different for Karnataka as well as Mumbai. If at all, we have seen the composition of the GST numbers that are issued to us, you would understand that the 10-digit PAN is a part of it. If we are not aware about it, it is fine. We would see in the topic of registrations, but if at all we are aware about it, or at least if you have to trust me now when I say that there is a PAN involved in your GST as well, how many GSTNs, correct. How many PANs would be there? One. So whenever the government checks up this transaction, it says Karnataka also belongs to Shivi Private Limited. Mumbai also belongs to Shivi Private Limited. Now they cannot be called as related persons because PAN same hai, but they can surely be called as distinct persons. I hope I am clear. So if you have to understand the meaning of distinct persons, remember the permanent account number would be same, or there would be a common PAN involved by which you would be identifying that these are distinct persons. I hope I am clear till now. Now there is a special discussion on a particular related person, that is your employee. That is your employee. Now remember, an employee and an employer are related persons for the purpose of my GST law. For the purpose of my GST law, employer and employee are related persons. Therefore, any supply which happens from the employer to the employee is fairly and squarely covered over here. But there is a particular type of a motivation given or an incentive given by the employer to his hardworking employees in the form of gifts. Gifts, the government says, or the government has mandated that if you give a gift up to rupees 50,000, it is fine to us. You do not have to worry about the GST implications at all. However, if the value of gift exceeds rupees 50,000, GST is payable on the entire amount and not just the excess over 50,000. Though I know and I remember that I had already discussed this point with you in the previous lecture as well. However, I felt it is always good to keep revising things. So I hope point number 2 between an employer-employee is also, supplies between distinct persons and related person is also clear.
Yes, sir.
Now we all know that there is a concept which is the concept of agency. What happens in an agency? There is somebody by the name of principal. There is somebody by the name of agent. गुड्स किसका होता है? प्रिंसिपल का कि एजेंट का? ओनर ऑफ गुड्स. जो आपका गुड्स है, हकीकत में सप्लाई कहां से हो सकती है? या तो प्रिंसिपल खुद के प्लेस पे भी रख के वहां से सप्लाई कर सकता है, और एजेंट को भी कुछ चीज या कुछ पार्ट ऑफ द गुड्स का उसने पोजीशन देके रख सकता है. However, the pure motive of this agent is to earn commission. बस उसका काम एक ही है. गुड्स मेरा नहीं है, गुड्स एजेंट का नहीं है, गुड्स किसका है? प्रिंसिपल. तो निहाल, व्हाई आर वी डिस्कसिंग दिस थिंग? अब हमको ऑलरेडी मालूम है कि यार कमीशन पे तो जीएसटी लगता ही है. तो अब यहाँ पर शेड्यूल 1 में इसको डालने का पर्पस क्या? शेड्यूल 1 बोलता है सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स between principal to agent, agent to principal is liable to GST. Now इसको एक ब्लैंकेट एप्लीकेशन नहीं किया जा सकता. Now when I say blanket application नहीं किया जा सकता, what trying to tell you all is, समझो एक एजेंट है, उसका नाम है निहाल, और एक प्रिंसिपल है जिसका नाम है शिवी. मैंने बोला शिवी मैडम, लोग आते हैं मेरे को पूछते हैं आपके पास में शिवी प्राइवेट लिमिटेड के प्रोडक्ट्स है क्या? मैं बोलता हूँ प्रोडक्ट एज सच डिस्प्ले पर नहीं है, लेकिन मैं आपको लाके दे दूंगा. तो क्या मुझे अपने कुछ प्रोडक्ट के सैंपल्स मेरे शॉप पे डिस्प्ले के लिए लगाने के लिए दोगे क्या? शिवी मैम बोलती है, निहाल सिर्फ सैंपल्स नहीं देती मैं तेरे को, मैं तेरे को से हर एक मेरे पर्टिकुलर आइटम का 10-10 पीसेस तेरे शॉप पे दे देती हूँ. जब भी तेरा प्रोडक्ट बिके तू मुझे पैसे तब दे दे. याद रखना, प्रोडक्ट मेरे नहीं है, प्रोडक्ट एब्सोल्युटली किसके है? शिवी प्राइवेट लिमिटेड. लेकिन मैं तो उसका एजेंट हूं. अब अगर मैं इस प्रोविजन को ब्लैंकेट एप्लीकेशन करता हूं तो व्हाट विल हैपन? दिस ट्रांसफर ऑफ गुड्स फ्रॉम शिवी प्राइवेट लिमिटेड टू निहाल would become liable to GST. Now this is not what the law intended. This is not how the law should have been. Therefore, the government has came out rather with a circular in which it clarified that we understand that this section is being misinterpreted, or rather this part of this schedule is being misinterpreted. So the correct interpretation of this provision is something like this. The correct interpretation is निहाल जो एजेंट है, निहाल जो एजेंट है, आप उसकी इनवॉइसिंग चेक कीजिए. उससे क्या होएगा? बोला आप चेक तो कीजिए. अगर इनवॉइस एजेंट के नाम की जा रही है, शेड्यूल 1 अप्लाइज. लेकिन अगर प्रिंसिपल के नाम की जा रही है तो शेड्यूल 1 is not applicable. Now the logic behind that was, I can have a godown which is different from my factory. So I don't intend to have, or rather to charge every transaction which is causing movement of goods. या अगर मेरे को एक मेरे ही प्लेस से दूसरे मेरे ही प्लेस पे गुड्स शिफ्ट करने हैं, तो आई डोंट हैव दैट इंटेंशन इन माय माइंड कि मैं सीधा जीएसटी पहले लगा दूंगा, जब गुड्स बिकेगा तब आप देख लेना क्या होता है. नहीं, वो इंटेंशन नहीं है. बाय दिस what to say circular, they have tried to come out with this intention that अगर इनवॉइसिंग एजेंट के नाम से हो रही है तो उसका मीनिंग क्या हो रहा है कि प्रिंसिपल ने एजेंट को गुड्स ट्रांसफर किया है ऑन क्रेडिट बेसिस. और अगर प्रिंसिपल के ही नाम से इनवॉइसिंग हो रही है तो एजेंट हैज गॉट नो कंट्रोल ओवर हाउ मच डिफरेंस द प्राइसेस कैन बी चेंज्ड. इसका एक और एग्जांपल देता हूं आपको, या एक और बिजनेस सिनेरियो आपके सामने रखता हूं. अगर प्रोडक्ट आपका है, से फॉर एग्जांपल ये मोबाइल फोन आपका है, तो क्या आप डिसाइड कर सकते हो कि आपको इसको कितने प्राइस में बेचना है? यस. लेकिन अगर आपके पास जो मोबाइल फोन है वो आपकी ओनरशिप में तो है, लेकिन आप उसकी वैल्यू डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते. वैल्यू कंपनी ही डिसाइड करेगी कि निहाल आपको ये प्रोडक्ट, या रेदर शिवी आपको ये प्रोडक्ट 15,500 रुपये में ही सेल ऑफ करना है. तो आप क्या करोगे? ठीक है, 15,500 के नीचे आप बेच नहीं सकते. सो जब आपका वो इफेक्टिव कंट्रोल नहीं है प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर, तो ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट है of a transfer between principal to agent is not applicable. I hope I am clear.
Yes, sir.
The next one. Import of service. It is happening from whom? From a import of service by a taxable person. Import by a taxable person. From a related person. From a related party. Or his own establishment outside India. In the course of furtherance of his business. In course or furtherance of his business. What am I trying to tell over here, or what is my intention of this provision, or rather this entry of my schedule? If you remember, we have already seen that import of service for a consideration is liable to GST, whether in the course or furtherance of business or not in the course or furtherance of business, it is liable to GST. I believe this is already clear in our heads. What is this? It tells that import by a taxable person. Now, what is the meaning of the term taxable person? Obviously, a person who has GST. From a related person or his establishment outside India. Say, for example, it can be a foreign holding company. It can be a foreign subsidiary. It has to be in the course or furtherance of my business as well. So the difference, or rather this point is trying to highlight कि से निहाल एक बात समझ. There is a company called as Shivi Holding LLC that is registered in say US, and there's a company called as Shivi Holding Shivi Private Limited that is a branch of Shivi LLC, that is the holding, or rather the holding company. So we have Shivi LLC USA as my holding company, and we have Shivi PVT Ltd India, that is its subsidiary. Now there comes a notice, no, not a notice, or rather an intimation that from 15th January 22, we all have to compulsorily use a particular accounting software. Say you people would be comfortable on SAP, so SAP लिख लो. People would be comfortable on Oracle, तो Oracle लिख लो. या अगर और कोई दूसरा सॉफ्टवेयर अच्छा लगता है तो उसका नाम. The implementation would happen from the holding company itself, so that you don't have to worry. बट आपको यहाँ पर इंप्लीमेंट उसको करना पड़ेगा, या अगर आपको उसको यूज यहाँ पर करना ही पड़ेगा. पेमेंट एंड एवरीथिंग हैपेंस फ्रॉम द होल्डिंग कंपनी. होल्डिंग कंपनी का ही बंदा आएगा, आपको यहाँ पर ट्रेन करके भी जाएगा. नाउ द गवर्नमेंट सेज दैट ये तो आपको इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस हो रही है, आपका बिजनेस पर्पस है. यस, बिजनेस पर्पस भी है, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली जब आप एक अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर चेंज करते हो तो इट इज इन दी कोर्स और फर्दरेंस ऑफ योर बिजनेस ओनली, उस पर कोई डिस्प्यूट ही नहीं होता. तो गवर्नमेंट बोलती है इस पे हमको टैक्स चाहिए. आई होप आई एम क्लियर, बट वेट, द एक्सप्लेनेशन इज नॉट येट ओवर. नाउ वी ड्रॉ अप अ डिफरेंशिएशन चार्ट. ओके, बिकॉज आपने इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस दो जगह देख लिया है. दिस आई बिलीव इफ यू कॉपी इट ऑफ वुड बी वंडरफुल. इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस आपने कितनी जगह देख लिया? दो. जो पहला इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस था, इट वाज फॉर अ कंसिडरेशन, और जो अब आपने इंपोर्ट सर्विस देखा, दिस इज विदाउट अ कंसिडरेशन. जब वो फॉर अ कंसिडरेशन था, वी हैड ignored the purpose. That means personal था तो भी liable to GST, business था तो भी liable to GST. Now if it is without a consideration, we are checking the, firstly we are checking as to who the supplier is. If it's a related person or if it's an unrelated person. If it's a related person plus business purpose, liable to GST. Unrelated person, whether it is for business purpose or for personal purpose, it is not liable to GST. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So if you are copying it off, please copy it off. Also tell me once you are done copying. Done copying?
Sir.
Yes, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I hope the schedule 1, which talks about no consideration but yes GST, is clear.
Yes, sir.
On the second schedule.
Yes, sir.
Now the second schedule, that is schedule 2, as I had said, and I'll again repeat, it talks about classifications. So when I talk of that, or rather when I say that it talks about classifications, all the items that we discuss in this schedule, you will feel that they can be classified as goods. Also, they can also be classified as services. But what do we have to follow finally as to whatever is the conclusion? Now you may be dissatisfied in your heart that nahi, Nihal, this cannot be classified as goods. This has to be compulsorily service. But nahi. If my schedule says that this is service, it is service. If my schedule says that this is goods, this is goods. मान लेने का. I hope आप मान जाओगे. First thing, we again go to the term transfer. Acha, just a quick recap. How many types of transfers can be there? 2. Permanent,
Permanent and temporary.
temporary. So when it is a permanent transfer, my title is also transferred. Yes. So when my title is transferred, what have I given it to you? Goods. My title does not transfer. So when my title does not transfer, what happens? I remain the owner. What do you get? You get a right to use. So when I say that you get a right to use and you do not get the ownership, what have I given to you? Goods or service? Service. I say that Shivi madam, because you do not have adequate money to buy the particular thing outright, do one thing, आप इसको buy कीजिए, give me installments. ठीक है, say for example मेरा प्रोडक्ट 1 लाख रुपए का है, आप मुझे काम करना, आप मुझे डाउन पेमेंट दे दीजिए से 20,000 रुपीज का, और बाकी के हर महीने आप मुझे 11,000 रुपए की से इंस्टॉलमेंट्स दे देना फॉर अ पीरियड ऑफ 8 months. So you are also like, okay, yes, agreed. How much will this amount be? 11,000 into 8 would be 88,000. How much is the excess amount paid to me? What is this?
This is the extra amount, interest.
This is an extra consideration. Did you want to buy that product, or did you want to use it temporarily? You wanted to buy it. Now, because you wanted to buy it, I have transferred you goods. I have not just transferred it anyhow. Because of that installments that I have given to you, I have also charged you something extra. I hope I am clear that if the title gets transferred outrightly, it is goods. If the title does not get transferred on, you only get a right to use, it is service. If the title will get transferred to you at a later date, it is also transfer of goods only. I hope I am crystal clear on this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Point number 2. Land and building. Acha. Can you call land and building as goods?
No.
Can you call them as goods?
No.
No. Why? Because for it to be called as a good, it has to be movable. Now, land and building are not movable. So, when land and building are not movable, it can never, I repeat, it can never be transfer of goods. So, either it is supply of service, or it is covered under schedule 3. Schedule 3 अपन already देख चुके हैं. So what am I trying to tell you? Okay, if there is any particular supply related to land and building, it will always be supply of service, and it will never be supply of goods.
Yes, sir.
Next, treatment or process to another person's goods. ये भी आसान है. This I'll give you a classic example. Supposedly, I have a business of markers. Okay, I know how to make the entire structure of marker. But you know, marker के ऊपर एक cap लगती है. I do not know how to make this cap, but I know how to make the entire body of marker. So now I approach who? I approach Shivi. Shivi is a champion of making caps. I give a sample to Shivi. मैडम कैप बनाकर चाहिए मेरे को. She is like ठीक है दे दूंगी बनाकर. So what is she doing? She is processing certain things for me. She is processing certain things for me. I say size भी इतना ही चाहिए मेरे को. उसके ऊपर का जो कवरिंग है वो भी इतने से साइज का ही होना चाहिए. उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं चाहिए मेरे को. Rather, I would say that Shivi is doing a job work for me. Product मेरा, description मेरा, measurements मेरे. वो क्या कर रही है? सिर्फ काम करके दे रही है मुझे. As to how I want it to be. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Example. I'll give you another example. Say for example, ये है मेरी मशीन. Say it has got damaged. What will I do? I will call a mechanic. मैकेनिक का नाम है. बोलूंगा मैम मेरा मशीन नहीं चल रहा, प्लीज इसको ठीक करो, इसका ट्रीटमेंट करो. मैम चेक करेगी पूरी की पूरी मशीन. She would find out where the bug is, or rather where the error is, and she would repair it off. मशीन किसकी? मेरी. ट्रीटमेंट किसने किया है? So therefore, it will be supply of goods or supply of service?
Supply of service.
It will be supply of service. Fourth point. Fourth point again, somewhere or the other, talks to me about transfer. I can bifurcate into three. आपका बिजनेस एसेट है. You have transferred those business asset to me. Now I know मैंने अभी अभी schedule 1 पढ़ाया है जहां पर बोला था permanent transfer of business asset is liable to GST even if it is without consideration. Here you are not checking whether it is liable or it is not liable. Here you are only checking whether it is subject or whether it is supply of goods or it is supply of services. Please understand the headings as well. Schedule 1 जहां पर taxability की बात कर रहा था, Schedule 2 सिर्फ ये बोल रहा है कि जो आप कर रहे हो वो सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस है. अब टैक्सेबल है नहीं है उससे मेरे को कोई मतलब ही नहीं. अब मेरे को एक बात बताओ, बिजनेस एसेट है. So when you are transferring that business asset, आप क्या ट्रांसफर कर रहे हो? गुड्स के सर्विस? निहाल जब आप इतना एसेट 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 बोल रहे हो तो इट इज ऑब्वियसली गुड्स, देयरफॉर इट इज सप्लाई ऑफ. अब आपने क्या किया? यू हैड अ कार. ओके, you have given your business asset for personal use. The asset belongs to whom? Business. It is used by whom? You. For what purpose? Personal purpose. Do you become the owner of goods? No. So when you do not become the owner of goods, it is a temporary transfer, and temporary transfer is always supply of
Service.
Third point. person ceases to be a taxable person. Person ceases to be a taxable person can happen in, say, a lot of situations, but to give you an example, I would only give you one. आप पहले जीएसटी में रजिस्टर्ड थे, now you are getting out of the GST region. It can be because of any good reason. आपका टर्नओवर कम हो गया, जो आपका प्रोडक्ट था that became 100% exempt. So it can be any reason, any goddamn reason. But now you do not have to worry about GST at all. So when you cease to be a taxable person, will you discard your business assets? The answer is no. You would still continue to use your business assets. But if you check out the theme, for sure there is a transfer taking place. How is that transfer taking place? First, this asset was used by, say, Nihal, GST wala. Now it would only be used by Nihal, so that GST wala goes away. So the government says it was a business entity, it is not a business entity. Now please note, these are all the logical frameworks of the government. I know Nihal is Nihal only, but I also know that whenever we used to do accounting, we always had a capital account and a drawing account. And the first rule of accounting was a business is separate from its owner. Therefore, a business asset is also separate from its owner. Asset business का है, owner का नहीं. With this logical derivation also, I feel that yes, there is a transfer taking place. But there are certain scenarios which ought to be excluded, which have to be excluded, which had to be excluded. Before jumping on to the scenarios, let us first conclude whether it is supply of goods or it is supply of service. Tell me, it is purely supply of goods.
Service.
It cannot be services. Reason is, जो भी ट्रांसफर हो रहा है, that is your business asset. So अगर आपने मुझे यहाँ पर सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स कहा है, तो यहाँ पर सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस तो नहीं हो सकता, या अगर आप मुझे यहाँ पर सर्विस कहते हो तो यहाँ पर गुड्स नहीं हो सकता.
Yes, sir.
So it is supply of goods. Two exceptions. One, आपने बिजनेस को ट्रांसफर कर दिया, ट्रांसफर एज अ गोइंग concern. What is the meaning of the term going concern? That you tell to the government, hey, I am not running the business. What? You tell to the government that, hey, I am not running the business, but also, hey, the business is not getting shut down. It would be continued, not by Nihal, maybe by Shivi. So you are getting your taxes, you stay happy with it. Second exception is, it is carried on by a legal representative. Now what does that mean is, say एक business था, say proprietorship firm थी किसी. Now that proprietor has passed away. So the government is telling transfer हो गया, because the person ceases to be a taxable person. उसका कोई लड़का या लड़की था या थी, they say hello, we are carrying on this business as a legal representative, though I know that there would be a lot of procedures involved to transfer of those business assets, to take up that ITC into your file and then carry it on, but here they have given you an exemption, or rather an exception, that if the business is still carried on by a legal representative, though you cease to be a taxable person, this supply of goods will not apply. I hope I am clear.
Yes, sir.
I believe 4 points हो गए थे, 5. All the items that we discuss now, they are all supply of services. You will understand it by the first element itself. Renting of immovable property. What is land? Immovable property. What is building? Immovable property. So when land and building is already covered as an immovable property in point number 2, why in point number 5 they have again said that a renting of immovable property is supply of service? I'll give you a very small hint that there can be properties other than land and building as well, which can be called as an immovable property. इसका एक एग्जांपल देता हूं. से एक मशीन है. सॉरी यार, मेरा ड्राइंग थोड़ा सा ऑकवर्ड है, बट देन अगेन जस्ट गेट द फीलिंग आउट ऑफ इट, डोंट जस्ट फोकस ऑन माय ड्राइंग. से फॉर एग्जांपल एक मशीन है. Now this machine say has a wobbling nature, it vibrates a lot. Now because of that vibration, what happens is that the desired output is not up to the mark. So what you do, you call somebody, you get this machine affixed. Okay, so you have got it affixed to land in a manner कि अगर 10.2 रिक्टर स्केल का अर्थक्वेक भी आ जाए तो भी this machine will not move from its place. So when the machine will not move from its place, it becomes an immovable. Another way to identify or to understand this is, whenever you would be dismantling the machine, whenever you would be say trying to remove out that machine, this machine will not go out in one part. It has to be broken down into multiple pieces, and only then will you be able to move off this machine. So this machine is now an immovable property. Obviously you can rent it. If there is an idle capacity, yes, go ahead, rent it at on some extreme. But hello, have you understood that immovable property can mean something other than land and building as well? I believe yes.
Yes, sir.
Construction of building or civil structure. In our previous class, or rather in the previous video, we had understood, or rather I had left point number a point relating to land and building, wherein I had said that I would cover it up with my schedule 2. So that is the point that we are going to discuss now. Whenever you construct a building, there are always at least two persons. One builder, another is the purchaser or the house owner. There's a transaction between these two people. What is the builder doing? The builder is constructing. For whom? For the purchase. So when I am doing something for you, am I giving you service? Answer is yes. But any activity that starts obviously has to end as well. Say the construction is over. The construction is over. Now what has happened? The construction is over. So once the construction is over, is there a constructing for somebody happening? No. Now what are you transferring? Flat or an immovable property. So when you are selling off an immovable property, is Schedule 2 applicable? No. Why? Because there is no service given. एक immovable property बेच रहे हो. Second, say there was an owner, Mr. A. Miss Shivi. She was the first owner. She sold off her flat office to Mr. N, who is the second owner. What has Shivi sold? Flat or immovable property. Has Shivi constructed anything for Mr. N? Again, no. So when there is no construction happening, it is obviously outside the scope of Schedule 2, and this part is exactly what is covered by my Schedule 3. Schedule 3 says supply of land and building except this part. To summarize, whenever you buy an under construction property, there is a construction by somebody for you happening, therefore liable to GST. Whenever you purchase a ready to move in property or a property for which OC or occupancy certificate or completion certificate has been received, you are buying an immovable property and therefore no GST is applicable. I hope I am very clear on this part. If you have any queries for this part, you can please ask. That is applicable throughout, but then again, if specifically for this part, if it is there, you can please go ahead and ask.
No, sir, no. So if it is not a land or building, then it is covered under this. If it is a land or building, it is covered under Schedule.
Absolutely. To summarize it off.
Yes.
And see, obviously, either the construction gets over first, or this sale, either this or this. It has to be whichever is earlier. Huh? I'll tell you why for that as well. The property was under construction. Shivi thought that when I had booked the property, I had to pay say 10,000 rupees per square feet. Now the property is still under construction. Shivi sells it off to Nihal for say 20,000 rupees per square feet. Now there are two transactions which are taken. One is the sale agreement between, or rather transfer agreement between buyer and Shivi, and second is the sale agreement between Shivi and Nihal. So if that second house, or rather the second sale has already happened to Nihal, no GST is leviable between this transaction, transaction number 2, because now what will happen, say the builder Mr. B is making the flat for Mr. N. I hope I am clear, huh? That जो ट्रांजेक्शन शिवी और निहाल के बीच में हुआ है ना, उस पर जीएसटी नहीं है, लेकिन अगर प्रॉपर्टी बनी नहीं है और अगर आपने सेल ऑफ कर दिया फ्लैट को, तो स्टिल कंस्ट्रक्शन सर्विसेज मिलने वाली है किसी ना किसी को. अब वो किसको मिलेगी? शिवी को नहीं मिलके निहाल को. Am I clear?
Yes. Yes.
3. What is IPR? Intellectual property rights. Rights belongs to the owner. अपने केस में हमेशा कौन होती है? वो शिवी मैडम. So she has given say IPR on rent, or rather for use to Nihal. IPR बेचा? क्या दिया है? सिर्फ यूज करने को दिया. So what is it again? Supply of
service.
Point number 4. Development, design, etc. for an IT software. से कोई भी आप एक अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम ले लो, या कोई भी आप, चलो अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम जाने दो, आप प्ले स्टोर पे ही चले जाओ. द बेस्ट थिंग अबाउट प्ले स्टोर इज दैट इट ऑलवेज आस्क यू टू अपडेट. एक हफ्ता हुआ नहीं, your so applications are due for an update, please update. So when they ask you to update, obviously with an update you get an additional features as well. So when you get those additional features, do you receive the soft codes? No. What do you receive? You receive a right to use those additional features. So whenever you receive a right to use those additional features, what have you received? Service or goods? You have received services.
Service.
Transfer of right. Tolerate of an act. There is a construction going on nearby. I am a person who is very allergic to sound. So what I do, once that construction starts, I give a notice to the builder to stop that construction. Or rather, it is in my nature only that, you know, I have to behave badly with everybody. मेरा घर में पैसा ही यही काम करने से आता है, that I give you a legal notice and I receive money and then I take it. So बाजू में भी एक एक्ट चल रहा है कंस्ट्रक्शन का, मैंने बिल्डर को नोटिस दे दिया. The builder says, निहाल क्या है? I said simple है, सबको मालूम है that it is my business style, और rather मेरा यही काम है कि मैं आपको नोटिस दूंगा, वो नोटिस के सामने मेरे को पैसा चाहिए. क्यों? बिकॉज मैं आपका है ना जो चक 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 कर रहे हैं ना, आई एम सही उसको, मैं उसको टॉलरेट कर रहा हूं. So I want money for your act which I am tolerating. So when I am tolerating something, in lieu of that toleration, if you give me something, what is that? Again, supply of service. Now please remember the example that I have given. You may feel, sir, ऐसा कोई काम business का होता है क्या? I have only given you an example from a layman's perspective. Toleration of an act can mean a lot of things other than what I have given it to you as an example. I hope I am clear.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you repeat the fourth point, sir?
Are you comfortable using Tally? Are you comfortable using Tally as an accounting
Yes.
software?
Yes, sir. Okay, that's
Oh.
also updates. Yes, sir. Got it. I'm
Updates,
clear about
development, design. You know, they also give you, say, customized solutions. For that, obviously, they charge you something extra, but they also give you customized solutions. So those customized solutions will work only for you. It will not work for all the tele users. So when that customized solutions that you receive, that is again supply of service to you, and it is not supply of goods. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right to use what? Any goods. For what? Any purpose. Which means goods कोई भी हो सकता है, purpose कोई भी हो सकता है. It will remain supply of service. Now please note, if it is आपका पर्सनल एसेट, आपका पर्सनल यूज, और अगर आपका पर्सनल कार था, आपने किसी को पर्सनल यूज के लिए दिया, तो don't come to that conclusion that Nihal, is it not out of scope and it is not taxable? Don't you feel that this is correct stand rather than this thing? Baba, we are only discussing whether it is supply of goods or supply of services. We are not discussing taxability over here. I hope I am very clear.
Yes, sir.
You know, at this point of time, I have to give you a thumb rule as to what can be called as supply of service. There are two things. One, Shivi is the owner, Nihal is the user. It is Shivi is the owner and Nihal is the user. Shivi directs, Nihal. अगर मेरी प्रॉपर्टी है, आप उसको यूज कर रहे हो, तो मैं सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस दे. अगर मेरी प्रॉपर्टी बनने वाली है और आप उसको मेरे हिसाब से बना रहे हो, मैं सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस रिसीव करूं. Am I clear? याद रखना, अगर कुछ भी चीज आप टेम्पररी बेसिस पे दे रहे हो, यूज करने को दे रहे हो, तो आप हमेशा सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस कर रहे हो. गुड्स कहीं नहीं आ सकता इसमें. I hope I am very clear on this.
Yes, sir.
There are two composite supplies. Acha, what do you understand by the term works contract? A layman's meaning of a works contract is
On contract basis.
on contract basis? No, I will have to give you a lot more modification. मैंने आपको एक ठेका दे दिया that I want to renovate my home. बिकॉज मैंने आपको एक ठेका दिया है, गुड्स भी आप ही लाओ, लेबर भी आप ही लाओ. So goods also you will only get, the labor or the service also you only have to give it to. So whenever I receive goods plus services, what am I receiving? A works contract. Now this is the general meaning, na? This is a very generic meaning. कि कोई पूछे ना वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या होता है, तो वो सबसे पहला चीज जो आना चाहिए मुंह से, दैट इज एक सप्लाई होगी ऑफ गुड्स प्लस सर्विसेज बोथ. बट जीएसटी तो जीएसटी है हमारा, जीएसटी को नॉर्मल चीजें अच्छी नहीं लगती. जीएसटी बोलता है दैट गुड्स प्लस सर्विसेज इज फाइन बट हैज टू बी, जो आपका एंड रिजल्ट है ना, द एंड रिजल्ट, इट हैज टू बी एन इमूवेबल, it has to be what? An immovable property. अगर आपने किसी को मूवेबल फर्नीचर बनाने के लिए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया, तो द जीएसटी लॉ टेल्स मी दैट निहाल, यू हैव आस्क्ड फॉर अ फर्नीचर. आपने वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं करवाया उससे, दो मटेरियल भी उसका ही है, लेबर भी उसका ही है. जीएसटी लॉ के लिए दैट इज नॉट अ वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. जीएसटी लॉ के लिए आपने कस्टमाइज्ड फर्नीचर बनवाया है. लेकिन अगर आप यही एक फिक्स्ड फर्नीचर का से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट देते हो, दैट आई वांट इट टू बी फिक्स्ड लाइक दिस एंड इन फ्यूचर इट शुड नॉट बी say taken out in a single shot without broken into pieces, without getting broken into pieces, then that becomes a works contract. Now for sure है, जब ऊपर मैं ही लिख रहा हूं that it is goods plus services, sorry, so can it be classified as goods? Yes. Can it be classified as service? Yes. Arose a dispute. So बोलो इसको क्या ट्रीट करने का, सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स के सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस? गवर्नमेंट बोलती है हमने इसको सर्विस ही मान, हम गुड्स नहीं मानते, हमने इसको क्या मान लिया? सर्विस. अब रेस्टोरेंट, अपन ने जो बेसिक एग्जांपल देखा था उसमें भी यही एग्जांपल लिया. यू गो टू ईट बट यू ऑल्सो एंजॉय दी अगेन इट इज गुड्स प्लस. गवर्नमेंट बोलती है हमने इसको भी क्या मान लिया, लेकिन एक कैच है. व्हाट इज दैट कैच? अल्कोहल. अल्कोहल की भी स्पेलिंग नहीं आती. अल्कोहलिक liquor for human consumption should not be there. Should not be there. मतलब अगर आप एक रेस्टो बार में भी जाते हो and if you only opt to eat, it is a restaurant service. अगर आप रेस्टो बार में जाते हो, you get into drinks and all. तो ideally what I have seen is that जो drinks and all होता है ना, they either give you a separate invoice for it or they charge VAT on it. Now we all know that VAT goods पे लगता था पहले भी, और VAT आज भी goods पे लगता है. So then there can be a possibility कि अगर आप रेस्टोरेंट्स वगैरह में जाते हो and if you have a drink, तो वो आपको goods भी माना जाएगा और सिर्फ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज ना माना जाए. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Point number 7. So then this is already being modified by the amendment. but I believe because it is a part of your syllabus, I still have to go ahead and teach. Supply of goods by an unincorporated AOP to its members. अब यहाँ पर क्या होता था ना, that there was a concept of mutuality. Now what is that concept of mutuality? It says that when it's an association of members, or whether when it is an association of persons, it is by the member for the member. So ये mutuality का concept था कि यार आप खुद के ही member के लिए कुछ कर रहे हो. So it is like you are treating yourself. So when you treat yourself, self services पर GST नहीं लग सकता. Because अपन start से देख रहे that you know that there has to be 3 persons: supplier, recipient, and the government that takes away the revenue. So forget the government. There has to have at least have to be 2 persons involved, supplier and the recipient. But when I say that you are doing it for the members as an AOP, it meant that you are actually doing self-service. Self-services, but there was no taxable. Rather, there should have been not taxability. But हमारा GST तो GST है. It tells that even if you are supplying goods by an unincorporated member to its members, we treat it as supply of goods. Now, this part has already been done away with from 1/1/2022, but I believe only the amendments till 31st of December 2021 are applicable to you. So, for you all, or rather for this entire batch at least, supply of goods by an unincorporated person to its members. I hope I am clear.
Yes, sir.
Now, let us first discuss something about tenancy rights as well. What do you understand by the term tenancy rights or pagdi system? What used to happen was that in some states, you want to say something?
No.
What used to happen was that I was a tenant. So Nihal is a tenant, and there is a landowner. I had purchased this right to use. Okay, I have obtained a right to use from the landowner. That a landowner, listen, I would be using up this land of yours, or rather this premises of yours, for my business purposes or for any purpose that I want. Have I become the owner? No. I have only acquired the right to use. Now what I do, I am selling. What? Can I sell the land? I am only selling the tenancy right, or rather the right to use the property. Now obviously, say if I sell off this tenancy rights for say 1 lakh rupees, some part of it will go to you, some part of it will come to me as well. So when I am selling off this tenancy rights, the question was whether the sale of this tenancy rights is liable to GST or is not liable to GST. This was the question that was specifically asked in the circular number 44/18 2018. The government says that yes, such sale of tenancy rights is liable to GST. Now please note, I, Nihal, okay, was a merely a tenant and had occupied your tenancy rights. और ये सब जो system है ना, it used, I believe all of such tenancy rights which were issued were all of some previous times, because now whenever there is a rent agreement issue, I have seen agreements wherein these terms are specifically written that in lieu of this agreement or pursuant to this agreement, you do not acquire any tenancy rights. So now these things have not arisen or and will never arise in future, but all the agreements of rent entered earlier are all subject to this, and the tenancy rights is there. Is it fairly and squarely covered? Answer is yes. I hope I am clear.
Yes, sir.
Now, obviously, this tenancy rights, आप ही बोलो कॉस्ट पे जाएगा कि प्रीमियम पे जाएगा, बिकॉज ये जो टेनेंसी राइट मैंने एंटर किया था, दैट वाज से इन द ईयर 1980 and now it is the value same? No. So obviously that premium remains taxable. Nihal, house, residential property covered here as well? अगर आप वो premises घर के लिए यूज कर रहे हो तो it is not covered over here. It is because for GST to be levied, any transaction has to be in the course or furtherance of your business. घर का tenancy premium बेचना, is it your business activity? No. So when it is not your business activity, is not covered. Am I clear till here? We have already seen. Just give me a minute, I would come back. Okay, I'm just drinking water and coming back.
This meeting is being
Till now, okay. See, as I had already told, that I am not giving any extra or extra special focus on the section numbers, but till now we have covered section 7 plus schedule 1, 2 and 3. Now the next part, is again types of supply only: composite supply, mixed supply. Now tell me one thing, The term composite as well as the term mixed in a layman's language means, it means that there is more than one supply. There is a supply of more than one goods, more than one services taking place at the single time. So why are there two meanings for the same thing? आप जब बोलते हो निहाल दो गुड्स साथ में जा रहे हैं, आप जब बोलते हो निहाल दो सर्विसेज साथ में मिल रही है, तो आपने ये क्यों बाइफर्केशन दिया कि कुछ कंपोजिट में फॉल करेगी और कुछ मिक्स्ड में फॉल करेगी? अब इसका आंसर हमें मिलेगा हमारे डेफिनेशन से. चलिए डेफिनेशन समझते हैं. कंपोजिट सप्लाई का मीनिंग है, द डेफिनेशन इज, एंड आई कोट, कंपोजिट सप्लाई मीन्स a supply made by a taxable person to a recipient consisting of two or more taxable supplies of goods or services or both or any combination thereof as well. So it can be goods plus service, it can be goods plus goods, it can be services plus goods, it can be services plus services as well, which are naturally bundled and are supplied in conjunction with each other in the normal ordinary course of business, but out of which one is a principal supply. Now what is this definition trying to highlight? मान लिया, क्या मान लिया कि आपकी more than one supply हो रही है, लेकिन there has to be a principal plus ancillary relation. मतलब कि निहाल अगर कोई प्रिंसिपल सप्लाई नहीं होती ना, तो जो एंसिलरी सप्लाई है ना वो हो नहीं सकती. बहुत ज्यादा कंसेप्चुअल हो गया. एग्जांपल बहुत आसान है. इट इज, I always love to give this example. Sale of, say, mobile phone, say laptop. अब आप जानते ही हो मोबाइल फोन के साथ में एक और चीज आता है, चार्जर. जो मोबाइल फोन के साथ में जो चार्जर आता है, क्या आप इंडिपेंडेंट भी खरीद सकते हो? यस. लेकिन जो मोबाइल फोन के जो कवर में जो चार्जर आता है, क्या आपने चार्जर खरीदा या आपने मोबाइल फोन खरीदा? मैंने मोबाइल फोन खरीदा. मोबाइल फोन के साथ में मुझे क्या मिल गया? चार्जर. अगर मैं वो मोबाइल फोन नहीं खरीदता तो क्या मुझे वो चार्जर मिलता? नो. एंड आप प्लीज डोंट कम टू दिस कंक्लूजन कि निहाल खाली चार्जर भी खरीदा जा सकता है, खाली मोबाइल भी खरीदा जा सकता है. बट याद रखना मोबाइल फोन के साथ साथ चार्जर आता ही है. until and unless you people are super rich and you only want apples, एप्पल के आईफोन्स, वो भी आजकल बंद हुआ है उसमें भी. ओके, सो इवन इफ यू गिव मी एन एग्जांपल ऑफ एन एप्पल आईफोन, even that used to come with charger and it is only I believe in the current edition, that is 13 से उन्होंने चार्जर बंद किया. So what is the principal supply? Supply of mobile phone. What is the ancillary supply? Supply of charger. Both of them, are they naturally bundled? Yes. Therefore it is a naturally, and therefore it is a composite supply. So I hope I am clear as to what is a composite supply. Now, if I have to understand what is a mixed supply, I only go back to my 8th standard. A composite, a mixed supply is a supply which is not a composite supply. Which is not a composite supply. So when I say it is not a composite supply, bacha, what I also mean to say is कि वहां पर प्रिंसिपल एंसिलरी का कोई रिलेशन नहीं होगा. It is only principal plus principal. Say for example, you are in love with my teaching style. You loved the examples that I am giving. In fact, you loved everything about the lecture series as well as the lectures. So what you feel? You feel that, chalo, let us gift sir something. So what do? You go to a shop, you purchase blazer, you purchase mobile, you purchase watch, you purchase belt, you purchase a shirt, etc. Because you have purchased so much. Rather, there was a scheme going on that everything of all this at a single throwaway price of say rupees 1 lakh. Now tell me one thing. क्या आप ब्लेजर और मोबाइल साथ में खरीदते हो? नहीं. क्या आप मोबाइल घड़ी साथ में खरीदते हो? नहीं. क्या आप बेल्ट और घड़ी साथ में खरीदते हो? नॉट नेसेसरी. क्या सबके जो आंसर आते, जो इमीडिएट आंसर आता, दैट इज ऑलवेज अन. और ऑब्वियसली आप एक सिंगल प्राइस पे तो इनके कॉम्बिनेशंस नहीं मिलते. सो they are naturally bundled? No, they are artificially bundled. थोपा गया है, जबरदस्ती की गई है आपके साथ में, या जबरदस्ती बोलते हैं ना, आपको सारे के सारे प्रोडक्ट्स दिए गए एट वन सिंगल प्राइस. सो व्हेन आपको ये सिंगल प्रोडक्ट्स, रादर ये सब चीजें एक सिंगल प्राइस पे दी जाती, देन इट इज अ मिक्स्ड. टू समराइज, आप नीचे उतरिए, आप अपने आजू बाजू वाले लोग जो है उनसे पूछिए कि मोबाइल और चार्जर साथ में मिलता है क्या. अगर जवाब आता है हाँ, इट इज अ कंपोजिट सप्लाई. आप नीचे उतरिए, आप अपने आजू बाजू वाले से पूछिए बेल्ट और ब्लेजर एक साथ में सेम प्राइस, सॉरी बेल्ट और मोबाइल साथ में मिलता है क्या? आंसर इज नहीं. आप नीचे उतर के देखिए, मोबाइल फोन वालों की शॉप पे आपको कभी बेल्ट नहीं मिले, मोबाइल फोन वालों की शॉप पे आपको कभी ब्लेजर नहीं मिले. So if it is not in your natural course of business, or rather if it is not a naturally bundled services that go together, it is always a mixed supply. ये तो था concept. अब आओ अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं what is the rate of GSTs that are applicable. Whenever it is a naturally bundled service, it is obviously the rate of principal supply or the principal product with a very logical understanding कि अगर principal नहीं बिकता तो ancillary को खरीदता ही. And whenever it is a case of mixed supply, I repeat, whenever it is a case of mixed supply, the rate is highest of क्यों? गवर्नमेंट बोलती है भाई एक एक करके बेच, मेरे को भी ज्यादा पैसा मिलेगा। आपको अगर मस्ती है या इफ यू हैव द हैबिट ऑफ कंबाइनिंग एवरीथिंग एंड सेलिंग इट ऑफ एट अ सिंगल थ्रो अवे प्राइस, I will not let my revenues go. You do one thing, you charge the highest rate from the customer and give it. Now, if you have understood this thing, whenever you do a supply of more than one products at once, the government will always say that it is a mixed supply, and as a taxpayer, you will always say that it is a composite supply. Because there can be a scenario where there are exempt items plus items at the rate of 28% going at a single price, and there can be a scenario where the main element, or rather the main item, is charged at 0% and the ancillary is charged at 28%. So in order to avoid those, or rather when we would apply the law, we would always consider a scenario that is favorable, and the same applies to the government. And I also hope that you have understood that there would be a lot of litigations that would take place because of this concept of composite supply and mixed supply. I hope I am clear till here.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So till here, okay. अच्छा चलो मैं आपको सेक्शन नंबर भी लिखा ही देता हूँ. अच्छा, have you understood this thing? If you have understood, I am just writing down the section numbers. This was there in section 230. And the concept of mixed supply, the definition of it was in section 274. And this discussion, principal plus ancillary, ये वाला जो rate of supply वाला है, that was a part of our section 8. Which act of this EGST Act? Until and unless I don't specify the IGST Act, it is not IGST Act, it is always the CGST Act. Till here, it was all scope of supply. Now, the next concept is levy and collection.